Louisiana Republican, kind enough to join us. This latest news that we've gotten, Senator, that China will sort of backstop Russia and presuming down the road with even weapons, if not lethal weapons, has a lot of Americans thinking this thing could go on a while, and some in your own party saying it's got to stop. Does that worry you?
Well, here's the way, yes, it worries me, Neil. Here's the way I look at it. I think it's clear that America's relationship with Ukraine, with Russia, with China, those relationships are now inextricably linked. We have decided to defend Ukraine. If you decide to be a bear, be a grizzly. We can't blink, especially when you're dealing with hard men like these. And I say men intentionally. You don't see too many women in the Politburo or in other decision-making positions in China or in Russia. I don't want to see America be the world's policeman, but I don't want to see Xi Jinping in China or Putin in Russia or the Ayatollah in Iran be the world's policeman either.
So do you worry, as some in your party, particularly in the House, I should stress, right now, saying a lot of that money that goes to Ukraine should be spent here? You've heard this before, and it's gotten kind of like a new lease on life, this kind of talk, given the fact that if China gets involved, this means it drags on a lot longer, and this could be sort of like a stalemate that drags on potentially for years. What do you say?
Well, it's not going to be easy, and there is risk. But there's even greater risk, in my judgment, if we do nothing. I have sponsored a bill, I haven't been able to pass it in the Senate, that would have the president appoint a special inspector general to follow every penny and to embed people in Ukraine so we can follow the money. But I have never viewed the money we're providing to Ukraine as an act of charity. I see it as an act of self-preservation. It's clear to me that Xi is working with Putin, who's working with the Ayatollah in Iran. Their goal is to have Russia dominate Eastern and Central Europe, to have Iran dominate the Middle East, and to have China dominate the Indo-Pacific and Sub-Saharan Africa. And that is not a place that is safe for the American people.
Senator, do you think that we should up the ante in our response to China, the bellicose talk, to say nothing of the anger over shooting down their balloon that they still insist is a weather balloon? We've gone tit for tat with sanctions against key companies in our countries, and others worry that this turns out to an outright economic war as we look at new footage that's become available from a pilot of that Chinese balloon itself. Where do you stand on this as far as taking it to the next level?
I don't want a Cold War with China. I don't want a hot war with China. But China has got to understand that all we want is for them to become a responsible member of a stable world order. That's point one.
But they're not.
Point two, weakness. No, they're not. But we're not going to do it with hugs and hot cocoa. China respects strength, and if China decides to send military weapons, not just economic support, but military weapons to Russia, America is going to have to respond. Now, I don't know what President Biden's going to do, but we've got sort of halfway sanctions right now on Russia's oil industry. He needs to, the president, if China takes that step, is going to have to tighten those sanctions to try to cripple Russia economically. But that's also going to mean that the president is going to have to turn to American energy and say, we need you. We need wind, solar, but we also need oil and gas, and he's going to have to get his boot off the neck of the oil and gas industry.
And to go after Russia and China simultaneously, I guess. All right, Senator, thank you very much. Very good seeing you again.